Oh my goodness. Woo! Woo! It's hot. It's a hot situation, baby. Woo, Lord. Okay. Let me hold on. My mouth is dry. I think I need to put some lip gloss on because it's like, hold on, I need some water. All right, I need to gather my edges. I need to gather myself because this is for real. Kevin is here. BET is here. What's up, fam? Oh my gosh. If you guys have any questions, put them in the question box below. But we finna get into these little questions. Okay, we gonna talk about this tea right here. Listen, you can say whatever you want. You ain't gonna hurt our feelings, all right? It is what it is. I have my own private thoughts. I could tell you something. I'm not Team Aaron, but don't tell him that. Okay, so we're gonna get into this conversation. Everybody who came into my Zoom meeting, thank you so much. It was so much fun. So let's get into it. I have to put my Scorpio on because we gotta talk. I have questions. I'm confused. So I have questions.
Yo, Novi Brown in the building. What's up?
Kev, I have questions. Kev, my Scorpio brother, my happy
We got anxious.
Oh my goodness. First of all, how are you enjoying the season?
It's highly entertaining. It's really dope watching these storylines come together and evolve, especially from season one. But it's really entertaining, I'm laughing at everyone's like responses and replies. The world watching this journey of everyone, it's really entertaining to watch, and it's cool to see it because there's some things I didn't know that were illegal that I get to watch now. So it's been really cool.
Like the peeing scene? I
Yeah.
didn't even know that Anthony peed. Right there.
It's
Like,
so
what is
legit.
that about?
So legit.
Crazy. And I mean, obviously, I have so many questions for you, Kevin. So we're going to dive it right in because I know everybody is so curious. Oh my gosh, I have so many questions in the question box. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, love it. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
Hi, guys. So first of all, how's Kevin doing? Before we start dragging Aaron, how are you?
Oh, dang, that's how long I gotta get dragged, though. Why you gotta get dragged?
Because you know you're going to have to school me. You're going to have to make me understand, Kevin. You're going to have to make me understand.
It's just, yeah, I can see there's some misunderstandings. We gotta clear some things up. Kevin's doing amazing, though. Kevin's been thriving. I just completed my next 2 rounds of the courses for Creatorhood training, which has been phenomenal.
Can you explain to the people what Creatorhood training is?
Yeah, so Creatorhood training, there's 3 phases to it, and it's the public offering to the spiritual practice and pathway that I've developed over the last 10 years, making it into a practice, and over like 20 being on my own journey. So it's a comprehensive kind of life path to get you to recognize the nature of your inner self and all the glory that you are, and how to bring it to life to really live in your fullest authentic expression. So emotional maturity, command of consciousness, reality creation, all those things, it houses all of that masculine and feminine energy, and how to actually become more deliberately in command of yourself, and how to use it in a more empowering, healthy, connected, whole, expansive way. That's what it's about.
I just needed y'all to know what Kevin is really on. So when we talk about Aaron, y'all know the extreme difference between these 2 men, but they're both on a transformational journey.
This is true. This is true. That's right.
And okay, so I'm loving this. Let's talk about Aaron. Let's talk about it. Oh my God.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, drink your water, because I'm
it's tea. It's tea. It's tea.
First of all, how did you feel when you got the role?
Well, first and foremost, excited, because it was like obviously dope ass life-changing experience moment and all of that. And it was cool to explore Aaron, because there's spaces of how he functions that I remember the different aspects that I used to do. And then he has that, like, to me, he had this idea of how he thinks things ought to go, and that he feels like he can handle it all. And then you make decisions and things don't quite work out the way you thought they would work out. So kind of like exploring the nature of the character is really cool to play with that, and also to have all this mystery around them where you don't really know what's like underneath that or what can be, and it's been really fun to play with in that sense. So it was really dope to get this role and to play with. Obviously the opportunity to be a part of the fam, to rock with y'all, you know, it's just a dope experience all the way around, without question.
It must be such an interesting thing because for your, you know, your spiritual work and your spiritual self-healing journey and stuff, you've gone way beyond where even Aaron's at. So how can you pull yourself back to that place? Because I feel like a lot of actors are scared sometimes when they feel like they've made personal progress to maybe connect with a character who's in a different place.
To me, I feel like once you get to a certain space of like emotional command, it actually becomes really easy to go, because it's interesting. A part of my practice in Creatorhood, I do this thing I call emotional efficacy training, which is like where you literally, deliberately, proactively, every day go to the edge of each emotion that we feel. And so you constantly navigate how to really enrich yourself in the intensity of it, and then how to command that energy into its mature form. So for me, plunging into a character and coming back has become a lot more effortless because of that type of work. But I can understand the fear of it, because if you don't have like that kind of space of either command or awareness or process, it can be intense. It can take a toll. It can be, and we've seen that. We've seen what's happened with people when that's been the case. So for me, I think based on my background, the journey I've been on, it's been something that allows me to flow in between different states. So I didn't like feel like it would jeopardize my progress. I feel like it would only kind of solidify, because I know how to get back into that space, which means I can still honor being in the other aspect of me, which gives me more freedom to play with it rather than like be afraid of it, which is really cool.
There's a lot of feedback coming from your audio. They want to catch all these good gems. Is your phone sitting on anything, Kevin?
I don't think so. Is that better?
Yes, headphones.
I'm gonna put some headphones on. Y'all want me to put my headphones on? Would that be better?
Because these is two good gems to be missing, y'all. Come on. These are gems. I mean, because there's a lot of people who personally hit me up and they're asking me about the acting journey, but I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the emotional journey that it takes to be an actor and to really take up that space and honor the character where they are.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's a huge important aspect of it, because I think as actors, we get to play the idea of being professional human beings, where you get to play with all the aspects of humanity, right? Like and so it becomes a part of our work to explore the human condition, the human capacity, the human patterns. And I think that's really dope. And it's such an important part of it, where it can end up being our own spiritual breakthrough in a way, because there's a lot of things that I've tapped into in acting that actually include in my spiritual practice and teach people, because of what it allows us to access ourselves. You know what I mean?
It's the access to it. And, it's such an interesting thing, because I feel like a lot of people, well, obviously this year has been so monumental in the shift of consciousness, right? Like, but we get paid to use our emotions, and many people are trying to avoid them.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, it's like, it's funny. It's like literally the majority of humanity likes to avoid their emotions, which is why it's the next stage of human evolution, that we allow ourselves to feel freely. Because once we start feeling freely, all the ideas of even having to heal and having to deal with past traumas fade, because now we live in a greater standard of health, which allows us to actually use the energy for more purposeful, creative, healthier endeavors. And so it's such the next stage for us in humanity to feel freely. And as actors, we get to literally play with that for work. You know what I mean? And it's so cool, but it's such an important dynamic. And I think that's also why people enjoy it, because when people go on a ride and a journey like the show, it prompts that emotional process, right? So people end up feeling those things as they're watching and they're going through it, and they're like, and it kind of helps become a visceral, like, what's the word for it? Yeah.
Kevin, you can see these emotions jump right out on Twitter. You can see 100%. All of the stuff that we're trying to 100%. Jump right out on Twitter. It's so easy to say, and this is something I really want to touch on, because it's so easy to say, fuck Gary. It's so easy to say, fuck Aaron. It's so easy, but when we're there, when we're in the middle of it, in the thick of it, it's a different experience. And how do you feel? What do you think is happening spiritually, energetically to people when they're watching the show.
I think it's that catharsis everyone's looking for, you know, that like this emotional release where it's like, at least, you know, if I'm not allowing myself to feel in the day, I watch this show and it's going to do one or two things. Either it's going to like activate feelings in me based on what I see, but I'm like, oh, we could just do something so much different. And then that may bring stuff to people's awareness. Like, I better start doing shit different. Or they watch it and go, holy shit, I do that. Damn it. I do that. Why? Thank you for the reflection. I'm changing my ways, you know? So it's like, I feel like it does all of that for everybody.
No, literally, I think it's cathartic. It's so healthy
100%.
to feel that and to have conversations and to really, somebody tweeted me today and said, oh, Sabrina and Calvin are the new Ike and Tina. And I'm like, you must have me confused with Gary and Andy or Gary and Garrett, because Gary, I mean, Calvin don't yell at me.
I know, right?
He doesn't stalk her. He doesn't do any of that stuff.
At all.
What y'all talking about? But I had to, and we were doing a banter out there. They said, oh, shoot, I got to come back with a comeback. Because I was like,
legit.
I love it so much. So this year, what have you been suggesting people do to look for support?
You know, a few different things. Honestly, it's like we have to start being willing to just kind of put ourselves out there. And even if it's virtual, looking for containers where you can express yourself freely helps, even in that essence, because that's really, aside from the inner work, which is necessary, but not everyone has a framework of what to do. Being able to have spaces where you can express yourself freely without judgment is huge.
Man.
And you know what I mean? So huge. Even just to have that first.
Honestly, in my opinion, that's what family should be.
That would be the standard of it. Yeah. Yeah. That would be like ideal.
The interesting thing is, like, our family is supposed to teach us how to enforce our boundaries, our clear no's, our clear yeses, supposed to give us those spaces because we practice those things with our family the most. So now that we go into the real world and we don't have any of those things, then we're confused, you know, because the alignment is off, you know what I'm saying? And we feel that within ourselves. So I feel like when we have friendships, we try to redefine that. And that's where we try to rectify and like kind of do what we didn't do as kids, you know, because there's a lot of do this, do that, you know, instead of expressing yourself as a whole human being.
Exactly. And that, I agree with that, because in a space with your friends, at least if it's a healthy dynamic, it is where you start to practice more sovereignty if you ain't used to doing it in your family. Because a lot of times, you know, like you said, the family framework is our initial parameter check in our lives. So if it's unhealthy and it teaches from limitation, that's what you pick up on initially. And then, but you, at some point, and for us all, the whole point is that we know how to navigate owning ourselves. Like, I am an independent person with my own thoughts, my own choices, which is what we feel like we get with friendships. And then we end up, as we get older, finding our voice to be able to express that to our family and to our parents and to whatever. But that's really what it is, that space of like finding that. And ideally, that would be the family dynamic. It's just we've for centuries have been playing out such misalignment for so long. It's like it's just perpetuated. And now our generation and all the generations of this era tapping into more of this wisdom and stepping in with that hardwiring is starting to lead that wave of there's a different way we can do this. And now we'll start a cause where that energy will shift and go forward. You know what I mean? And that's a huge thing. And we're in it. We're doing it. We're in it right now.
We're in it. We're in the thick of it. We're in the thick of the transition. And that really segues me into this really great question that I have for you, which is, how can you display empathy when you're supporting someone who makes decisions that you're not agreeing with?
Nice. Love it. Solid fucking questions tonight. All right. So when it comes to empathy, right, it's your ability to relate someone. It's not the same thing as having pity or sympathy for someone, because that's still a judgment that they're like a victim to their scenario. Empathy just means I can understand the feeling of the behavior, right? So if it's support, it's the ability to go, look, I understand how you feel and I'm with you on that and I get it. And then the support is the guiding encouragement that leads it to then it doesn't stop here though, right? That it's okay that you're here and where would you like this to go? And that framework of support is, I mean, it's really what support is. Otherwise it's going to be enabling. If you go, oh yeah, this is so horrible for you. And you, and you feel this way and let's just keep doing, that's like you literally laying it on, enabling the same story. But that actual empathy and the support is, I feel you, I understand it. And I wouldn't make the same decisions that you're doing with this, but I want you to know I'm here with you. And there can be something different if you want it. And it becomes a different kind of framework, because we won't, people won't always agree. But when you're willing to acknowledge the validity of somebody's experience, it opens up the space for the disagreement to be a discussion rather than like a shame session. You know what I mean?
Yep,
And I think that's the
session.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Y'all asking why people don't like Aaron. Listen, we'll get to that in a minute. I have a question.
Why people don't like Aaron? Dang.
We getting over there, because we getting over there. But okay, so this is I'm glad we're doing this live, because this is the live for us.
Yeah, straight up.
The question is, how do you not rush someone's healing process? Ooh, give me tips. Because, let me tell you, Kevin.
Yeah.
I feel like it's obviously one of those things, when you know something, you want the world to know what you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yo, you got to know this thing. Got it. Oh my God, it's hot. It's dope. It's this thing. It's called healing. Like, you could completely do it. You could do it. But it's not happening. So now I know, in your personal opinion with reality creation, you can kind of give us those things and put them together. Like how I'm creating someone in my reality that's not wanting to heal, or it doesn't seem like it. But personally, I think when you meet someone, that's already the wanting. Me meeting you is a version of me wanting the healing and coming into your reality, or you coming into my reality. So what do you think?
Yes. So yes, that is true. And it will always still be the decision of the person for their own healing, right? So the journey of that is recognizing that it's still going to be at their pace, as long as you hold a consistent container. Then you're allowing that process to take shape. Because one of the things that jams us up a lot of the times when it comes to healing is our judgment that they need it. Like right now. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Run it back. Okay. Run it back. A couple lives right here. Hold on. Okay.
All right. So one of the things that perpetuates the narrative that we overlook is the idea that we think people need healing, right? And so in that need, we end up wanting to force the issue and not actually realizing that beyond the narrative, you're already whole. Beyond the narrative, you're the truth of your existence. So if I can actually be with you in this moment and accept you here and acknowledge you here, the space itself becomes the catalyst for you to realize you're safe enough to both feel it and move. And that's the energy that keeps it rolling. So there is a patience that's necessary. There's a compassion that's necessary. And there's a willingness to accept what's here now in an honest way that allows the energy to move for the healing, which becomes more sustainable, more effortless. But when we think they need it, we're judging them as being less, and that perpetuates the narrative. You know what I mean?
Hold on, let me put my phone down. Hold on. Take a break, because I'm sweating. I think I just got red, y'all. So let me tell y'all. Okay. Now, damn it, I lost my question, because I just read my ass too good. Okay, so we're not rushing someone's healing process. How do I not get emotionally invested?
That's your work. So that doing your own inner work. So when we are witnessing that process and we find ourselves emotionally invested, or things are coming up for us, that's our stuff. That has nothing to do with them. So if we're not okay with the idea of someone being in the space they're in, it's going to be, where am I not okay with my own process of that? Where am I seeing this judgment in me in regards to what they're sharing? And that's your work. And if for all of us that feel that way, if we take a step back and go, let me honor these emotions in me, my feeling towards this. Let me take that moment. And if I can do that, and if we can take that personal moment for ourselves to integrate, we come back to being a clearer, more supportive space that isn't so emotionally invested where we think it has to happen a certain way. We actually now can be in the presence of the process itself. So that's our work when that's happening.
Guys, y'all better get into this. This is a free therapy session, honey. Were y'all writing this down? Okay.
Straight up.
Okay, but
no charge.
Because what do I do? My friend keeps getting into a situation Kev, I love her. I want her to do it. I can't force her healing. I'm not judging her, but now it's coming into my reality and things are getting a little strange over here. So
Yeah.
what do I do?
So that's when, we kick in the standard aspect, when we got to have the clarity of standard. So when it comes down to it, right, everyone's going to make their own decisions, and we have to acknowledge that. Part of the journey of when we're living from love, part of the journey of keeping friendships pure and authentic, is the willingness to know that everyone can live beyond each other, that it's not like we have to stay in this dynamic. Because if we start setting a different standard for ourselves and our friends keep playing at a different space and we don't resonate it, there's going to have to be an incredibly honest, authentic conversation of, is this the route you want to continue to go with your life? Because if you do, that's not what I feel resonant with. Because I feel like I want to move in this direction so we can grow. And if that's the case, and we're not on the same page, it's okay. It doesn't say anything about me. It doesn't say anything about you. Right. It just means we're now in different spaces.
We're in different spaces, and to honor that. And if you really cared about me, sorry, I got paused. If you guys care about me truly as a friend, you would really care about everything that I go through, everything with or without you. Like without, I don't have to be in your reality for me to feel like I'm worthy, or for you to feel like you're worthy. You know what I'm saying? We are teaching each other things. We've come into each other's reality to bring things to the forefront. And if we want to deal with them, we can deal with them and we can grow from there. Or, the growing steps is always happening. They're might be a little slow, might be a little big,
100%.
So you're saying, because I feel as if, in the real world, a lot of people use this loyalty term to their own detriment.
100%. Complete bullshit. If your loyalty isn't, see, the issue with loyalty is when people put loyalty to a person.
Ooh, okay.
When you put loyalty to a person, that's going to lead to perpetual distortions and misalignments for different reasons, because everyone's working on their own shit, right? And not everyone owns it. So if you have loyalty to a person and they're acting out incredible distortion, you're going to walk down the distortion. If your loyalty is to a greater standard for yourself and your friendships, now you hold a certain framework that goes, you're doing these things and you're out of integrity, and I don't support that. Like, I'm here with you and I love you, but I'm not going to go down this route with you because something you're doing is off, and I'm here to tell you, because that's what supportive friends do, right? It's like I won't enable your bullshit. I'm asking you to become something greater in yourself. That's the type of friendships I want. That's my standard for friendship, right? So if the loyalty is supposed to be toward everyone living in a greater expression of themselves, meaning my loyalty is to our growth, not our bullshit. Yeah. So when we put loyalty to a person, that's the misconception, because the person is going to have their own stuff to journey with, and you have to be able to see the difference between alignment and misalignment, the truth in them and the bullshit. And if you swear loyalty to a human, you're going to feed into all of that shit and not even realize it. And then you'll have guilt around it.
I hope you guys heard it and received. Okay?
You know what I mean?
The loyalty is to yourself first. And real friends, people in your reality, and I tell my people this all the time, they will understand that.
Exactly.
Always.
Exactly. If they're quality friends, they understand that.
Their growth is not conducive to you. They're going to be aware enough to say that. They're going to say, you know what? Maybe this is not good for you. That's, and those are the type of people that you need to be around. At the end of the day, the proving of this loyalty and all of these other things is really holding back your self-evolution, your self-healing, and creating the reality in the world that you actually want to live in. And now you're just having conversations because this loyalty has attached you. And now you're just talking about the world you want to live in instead of actually living the world that you want to live in with spirits and beings and people who are actually manifesting and doing what you're doing.
Tell them what it is, Novi.
As if true people who love you, regardless, family, friends, lovers, they will always understand that. Kev knows. Me and Kev first met, we got in a heated discussion, okay? Because we're both Scorpio, so we're very powerful people. And y'all see the type of energy we on, right? So we're talking about reality creation. We're talking about attraction. We're like talking about so many things. And what I appreciate about me and Kev's relationship, he's seen me cry. He's seen me scream. He's seen me be in all my states. And what I appreciate about him is he's always neutral. And I feel like in that neutrality, I'm able to grow. You know what I'm saying?
Straight
I'm
up.
able to see more. And I'm also able to understand that, okay, this is what he requires. So I can't come to him with this energy. So you have to respect people when they have up these kind of energetic boundaries because they've worked really hard to get them, first off. And then second off, you know, it's because they're on a pathway that's bigger than I can explain to you. I can't explain to you what I'm on, and I shouldn't have to spend 5, 10, 15 years convincing you.
Yeah.
I get so, Kevin, no, I get tired. Like I
Yeah.
can't convince people no more. I'm like, that's not my job.
Right.
No.
And and you won't have to. And that's the difference, right? Like, and remember, we think we talked about this before one time when we were in the dressing room. Um, the boundaries are what we create to break patterns, right? Because boundaries are instantaneous. They're not sustainable. They're just for the moment of breaking a pattern.
Hold on, repeat that.
Okay.
That was another
Right.
gem.
So
Boundaries are created
to break patterns. That's their purpose. If there's a pattern of limitation being played out, we establish a boundary to break that. What has to happen after that, though, the key is that it then has to go from a boundary to a standard of living. If you're living the standard, now it's sustainable. And then what you just talked about now is everyone will have to meet you at your standard. And when they have to meet you at your standard, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to convince people. You just live that shit and they have to meet you there. And that's the space. And that's what's key. So like my journey that's brought me to this moment is my realization of what I am very clear on. And my foundation is the truth. And when you recognize the truth, you realize it applies to everything and everyone, which means you no longer get
You're not
the
exempt. You're not exempt.
exactly that no one is the exception, no one is exempt, no one gets to excuse themselves from it. And so in my route of creation, that's what we create as my friendships. That's the standard. It's like there's not one excuse you're going to make, one rationalization, one avoidance that's going to justify you perpetuating your patterns in my presence or our presence, because we're going to remind you of the truth of your existence to step forward. And when that's the standard, then what happens is it applies to everyone. So when I talk with anyone, it's here's the stuff that's showing up for you. Whatever they're doing is the stuff showing up for them. We're all still in this together, whether you like this shit that people do or not. And so my journey is to get everyone owning themselves. You know what I mean?
It's happening whether I like it or not. And honestly,
exactly.
But Kevin, it's easier with strangers, not with your friends.
Right, but that's only because of the definition you have of your friends. It isn't inherently more difficult. We make it that way because we define it to be that way. It can be just as effortless with our friends when we are clear on our standards.
Period. But
period.
Okay, so now I have a question because my friend, you know, they talk so much about standards. They talk about so much about having this good life, and they do it all the time, and we chant it, you know, but. Woo, the reality is. The reality is, honey, people are constantly lying, Kevin. Honestly, for me, that's where the anger comes in, because it's just the wasting of and the dual living.
The duality,
like, Make a decision. Become the person that you said you were going to become. So
exactly.
What do you do when you're dealing with, okay, so let's say me and you been friends forever. And, you know, I just realized, like, okay, Kevin is not really delivering on what he's saying. This is not feeling good for me. I'm feeling held back now because subconsciously, you know, it's time almost moves so fast with people that you don't even realize what you're creating together, right? That energy. So now, how do I have an honest discussion with somebody who I appreciate, who I love, and I'm just trying to tell them where I'm coming from, because I feel like a lot of us aren't comfortable with that conversation. So how can I start? Yeah,
for sure. So this comes back to authentic communication. In authentic communication, there's really three important components. One is harmony and awareness, that you choose to speak from harmony and awareness for harmony and awareness. That means in this conversation, I'm not against you. You're not against me. I'm here to express how I'm feeling and to bring awareness to the relationship. with this information, we have the opportunity to explore together. Now, whether you receive that or not is not my fucking problem. It's not my business. It does not matter. It's as long as I'm living authentically to express this now, I offer the opportunity for us to navigate together. Now, if you receive that,
so you're saying the real thing is, as long as I'm delivering as an individual, my authenticity, my standard, the result of that is nothing to do with me. The
correct
beauty of it is that I'm doing it.
Exactly, because it will automatically reveal the clarity you're looking for. So either your friends will go, oh shit, like, so for instance, in my friends circle, if you came to me and you're like, yo, Kevin, I want to express some things to you, I'm going to sit with you and go, I'm all ears. And then you're going to share it. And I'm going to go, thank you for bringing that to my awareness. Here's what I received from that. This is what I'm hearing. Is that accurate? And I get to check in with me to go, am I in integrity with the things I'm saying, or am I out of integrity in this reality creation? Because this is now me looking at what I'm creating, that my friend would approach me to share this. And this, again, whether this is easy or hard does not matter. If you're choosing to live a greater standard in life, it's just going to be what has to happen at some point. But it demands emotional maturity.
It has to be what happens. And I think this is also the you know, oh, you did this, you glowed up, you left me behind. That's where that comes from.
Correct. And that's the thing. We never leave anyone behind. People leave themselves behind.
Throw the phone. Good night. Good night. Good night.
Straight up.
I heard that, right? Get it?
Straight up.
They got to gather themselves. Hold on. They got to gather their lives. Somebody's about to shout. Listen, just let the kids receive the information. This is good stuff, Kev. Okay?
Legit. I appreciate it.
Years between us here of some knowledge. Okay? The people need to know. No, honestly, that freed some people.
100%.
From the guilt that they feel. From wanting to be more. From wanting more from themselves. Because that's a real thing. You know, a lot of people won't step out on the limb, won't take the risk because they just don't want to leave. I remember when I moved out to Los Angeles, and I had so many older people in my family and stuff call me and just to tell me how proud they were that I moved, because they just never had the courage, you know, and just that alone can hold you back from what you need to be doing with your life, which is what you need to be doing is for the bigger purpose. You know what I'm saying? I look at how much little space I'm taking up. Look at how much little space Kevin is taking up. You know, we need to continue doing this for one another, because the more you hoard your gifts, the more we're starving. You know, the more we're hurting, we're in pain, because you're hoarding the gifts that was given to you by, you know, God, Spirit, the Creator, whatever you want to call it. And I always tell people, when they limit themselves, you limit God. Point blank.
100%. Period.
When you say no to yourself, you say no to God, and then God will say, okay, no problem. I'll give you exactly what you want, because the thing is, you create your reality. That's why I gave you the intuition, the thoughts, 2 hands, eyes to see, the senses. It gave you all of these instructions. I gave you everything that you possibly need. You let me know what you need. You let me know which direction to point you in next. But people get so upset when they get pointed in the direction because it's not the path they wanted to take.
Yeah.
It's not the most comfortable path.
Exactly.
This is not comfortable work.
Exactly. Like, you know, and this goes back to understanding when you refuse to own your emotions, right? When you refuse to own that, your natural inclination, the natural side effect is that you automatically blame other people, right? That's the natural side effect of not owning your emotions. And that literally, if you can trace, so everyone, the struggle with that is safety and significance. When you feel safe and significant within your own being because you own yourself, your natural inclination towards life is growth and liberation. When you don't feel safe and significant in yourself because you don't take time to accept yourself, own your emotions, the priority or focus there, comfort and validation. And people choose comfort over growth a lot. Yeah, they want that
instant gratification.
Exactly. And that's what perpetuates misalignments. Absolutely. So our willingness to get uncomfortable is not negotiable. It's not negotiable. You don't get to be like, I just want to kind of live in growth and come. Yeah.
I be telling people, you can sit sit down or God could sit you down.
You can sit down or get sat down.
Or get
Yeah, legit.
sat down. Like we all got sat down this year. And like you said, because Kev, you and I are doing the work, but we're still in this. We're still, like you said, regardless if we like it or not, it doesn't matter.
We're all in this together.
We're still a part of this.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right. So we can't leave. We can't just say, oh, we're gonna tap out. Imagine if people like me and Kevin and a few of you guys in here tapped out and said, never mind, I don't want to do the work. Let everybody else do it.
Exactly.
Right? That's not the point. Some people have to sustain. But I'm very excited because it's the emotional spectrum, the loyalty spectrum, these stories that we spin.
Yep.
That's
from such distortion. Exactly. Because one little known fact about life that is really evident, and I say it a lot in my practice, is that people are not obligated to anybody. Ever.
Ever. Not even your parents.
Not even parents. Parents are not obligated to their children. Children are not obligated to their parents. We do this stuff by choices. When we feel obligated and we don't honor our decision that we are making to do that, we end up leading into resentment and we take it out on the people that we feel obligated towards because we are in the distortion. You know what I mean? Like,
and then you blame it on me.
And then you blame it. Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so these are the things that have been here waiting for everyone to access. And for all of us who are accessing it, it's our duty to live the example, to express it, and to share our gifts, to offer this insight for everyone to realize the truth, because that's how evolution happens. That's how humanity evolves into a greater expression of itself. And just like you expressed a moment ago, it's in us. Yes. And everyone has the gifts in themselves to bring forth, to contribute to the all expanding.
Yep.
And that's what we're here to do. And every time we withhold it, it's a selfish act. It's a selfish act. Every time we withhold our gifts.
What he's saying, y'all.
Every time we withhold our gifts, it's a selfish act. And we are overlooking the greater thing that we are a part of that is beckoning our gifts be brought to the table.
Oh, Lord, I'm like getting emotional, y'all. Y'all hear that? I hear y'all. I feel like some of y'all hearts are opening.
Legit.
Okay, because some of y'all needed to hear that. Okay.
Legit.
You needed to hear that. That hoarding your gifts is a real thing. It's a real thing, and you're hurting. And I feel like there's that one quote, right? They say, "Do you know where the best ideas are in the world?" And they're like, "Where? The cemetery."
Straight up.
Nobody's doing anything. Everyone's just thinking, should I do this? And then worried about the one or two people who don't like it. First of all, it's not for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not for you. You are not, this message is not for you, and that's okay. It's not meant to be for you. You're not meant to know every version of me or resonate with every version of my being, because that's what I'm made for. You know what I'm saying? I have my acting life. I have my astrology life. You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm needed, in different spaces.
Yeah.
Right. But some people will be like, oh, astrology, whatever. Yeah, like 2 years ago, but look at it now. So like and the same thing for you, right? I'm sure when you started your work, people were like, oh, men coming together, yelling their emotions out in the jungle. Oh, that sounds so, but that's what people need.
And it's interesting because it's what people are ready for. And a lot of people, and that's usually the term I use. It's like, it's not even an need. It's really people are ready for it, but there's a fear around it when they're not used to it. Because I remember in college, I used to talk like this in college. And everyone just thought I was nuts. They're just like, that's just Kevin. It's just the way it is, right? They're just like, because this world wasn't talking like this on a regular basis in my sphere. So, and then it was dope where years later, some of my homeboys from college reached out because they started having their own experiences and they started recalling what we spoke about in college. And that was and actually going back to a question you asked earlier, that was a really clear thing for me of understanding truth, that when you know it to be true and you just offer it, it will land and it will be there when they're ready. And so if it takes them 1 year, 5 years, 8 years, when it lands, it's there. That's it. That's it. You don't have to force, let their journey. Yeah.
Stop trying to own it. Stop trying to be
exactly.
there and water it and then eat
exactly.
it. Do this and do that, guys. A lot of times, like, I become who I am because so many people have planted seeds in me, conversations
Yep.
and things I don't recall until years later. That's why I always get so excited about meeting people now, because I'm so aware of how I've been
Exactly.
groomed by the world. And I'm like, okay, well, shit, what message you got for me? Like, I know this.
Exactly. Yeah. Straight up.
And you
Straight
get
up.
excited. You get excited for the messages, and you get excited for the seeds that are being planted, and how your self-awareness is growing all the time and every day.
Yeah.
This is such a great talk, Kev. We only have a few more
I know,
minutes.
right?
And I really want to get through these 2 questions, because I feel like it's going to tie everything together.
Okay.
How
Legit.
can we move on from toxic relationships for the sake of ourselves? And I know you touched on some of this, but please.
Yeah. So we're going to start right from the tip of that. There's no such thing as a toxic relationship or toxic person. Let's clear the air of that for a second.
Hold on. A lot of people are going to log off right now, Kevin, because they're shattering realities. They don't want to hear that. They love the struggle. They love toxic. They love these words. You can't take this away from them. No. You cannot take away the word toxic.
Don't be taking away my toxicity. Yeah, legit. So, all right. So this is how structure of existence works, right? Everything is designed to witness people become their fullest expression, right? Their fullest authentic expression. Therefore, every time you are not being that, experiences will show up in our awareness to tell us where to make different choices, where to adjust ourselves. When we ignore it, we keep perpetuating the misalignment, and it just becomes louder distortion, until it gets too loud to ignore. And when we call that toxic, because we're blaming the experience that's been screaming for our attention 5 choices ago. Right. And because we were like, I don't want to deal with these choices. And then I don't want to deal with my shit. No, it's fine. I'll avoid it. And then it gets too loud. And then we go, ugh, toxic people, toxic this, because we're judging the experience and everything else. Exactly.
Your ass has the toxic goggles on. That's you.
It's like, yeah, no one just was owning their choices and made a different choice to change the pattern. And then you got what you were asking for. And that's the difference. It's like, so when it comes to ending the idea of a relationship that's on distortion, the first and foremost place is you have to stop and look at yourself. You have to get clear on yourself. What is it I actually want? Where am I playing out limitation? Where is it time for me to open up and be honest? Where is it I actually want to be? If you aren't taking time to get that clear inside yourself, you have no idea whether you're coming or going. You have no idea whether you're winning or losing. You have no idea whether you're up or down. And then you just perpetuate that shit.
Your distorted friend right now. Send them lives. Save their lives. Okay? We ain't saying toxic no more. We're just gonna say distorted.
That's it. They're just in a distortion. No one's poisonous. They're just playing out misaligned behavior patterns. That's literally all it is. And they can be extreme. Right.
Instant gratification. So if
exactly. And that's where addiction comes from.
You're gonna be an asshole because the world has rewarded you in your reality.
In some form or fashion. And that's where that's where all forms of addiction come from. It is a consistency of avoidance, and then we base it on whatever the thing is we focus the attention on. And I've done this work at recovery centers, so like this stuff isn't theory. This is experiential shit that I'm talking about. And when you start to realize when it comes to that, and you get clear in yourself, you go, okay, here's where I'm realizing I've been living in contradiction of nature, of truth, and of my authentic self. With that information, I now can make a different choice about this relationship, about my standards, and about what's necessary for me to address.
Tell them again, Kevin.
All right.
You can make the decision.
Yes.
You are allowed. No one is holding
you are allowed.
Back.
Correct. Correct.
One.
No one, nothing. You can make the decision to do something different. You have the ability to choose differently. In order for that to become clear, you got to check in with yourself. Everyone has to take time to build self-awareness and strengthen the relationship with yourself. You do that, the whole idea of toxic distortion fades, and you're now living in alignment. And every time you step into a misalignment, you catch it faster because you go, oh, wait a minute, out of integrity. Bring it on back. Let me have an honest moment with myself. This is what I want. This is the standard I'm setting. Thank you for showing up for me. I see you. Let me make a different choice now. You feel me? And then that's how you shift those relationships, because people don't take enough responsibility for themselves. Exactly. That's you living in the power that you are. Yep.
And you won't be a victim. You'll be a winner. And that's when your life
100%.
starts to change. But you have to choose. Like, I had to look around my reality. That's what Los Angeles taught me. And I looked around and I said, oh my God, I created this for myself. This is what I created. I made this. Because there's 8 billion people and a lot of opportunities, a lot of other things out there. What am I doing wrong? What am I missing? And this is
It's really that, yeah. It's like, what are you missing? You're not even gonna do anything wrong. You're just, what am I overlooking? What am I missing? What am I not paying attention to?
What haven't I tightened up?
Exactly.
What
What have I cleaned up?
Mind?
Yeah. What am I neglecting? What am I avoiding? What am I neglecting? What am I avoiding?
And that's what even in my astrology practice, that's exactly what it is, y'all. There's low vibrational way of interacting with the energy and a high vibrational way of interacting with the energy, you know? Like if I'm talking about the planet Pluto, it can be chemistry. It's the chemistry between people. Why you even, sexual magnetism. But it could also then be the obsession and the stalking if it becomes, like Kevin is saying, a distortion, a miscommunication, a misalignment, because you're not being honest. You're not looking in the mirror and saying,
100%.
hey, what is going on?
100%. Exactly. Because that's the thing. Like people love, again, it's the primary rule of emotional intelligence. When you don't know how to identify and process what you're feeling, you always end up blaming someone else for how you feel, right? Like you push the energy out in another direction. And what's funny about life is everyone knows when they're being lied to and everyone knows when they're lying to themselves, because lying is a cooperative act.
Just
you know what
say
I mean?
it again. I feel
like
people
every
need to hear the same thing 8,000 times. And
legit.
I understand, and we love to be supported. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But when me and Kevin tell you guys, when y'all come to us, it's the same shit y'all been hearing your whole entire life. And for some reason, or the timing, or whatever it may be, you were just ready to actually make the choice then. But you always have to remember the power was always in your hand. So even when I'm talking about love, you know, and people say, oh, my heart is broken. I'm like, no, your heart is expanding. Because you literally just learned how to, you need more space now. You need more space. You expanded. You got to another level of yourself. So you're not broken. You've expanded. Means you need more now. So you learn, but you had to go through
you are expanding into more.
Through that love gauntlet to even understand that you're capable of that. You know, my dog died recently on November 1st, and I had an in-home service for him, and the way that I was, just everything that I was feeling around him, because he basically had cancer before filming, and there was a lot going on even during filming, and you know, I just don't even say anything because I'm like, I don't have time to be an emotional victim. You know, I had to come to terms with him passing, you know what I'm saying, and all of those things, and dealing with death and dealing with loss and all the idea of it, whatever that may mean.
Oh, nice. Right? Yes, the idea of it. I'm so glad you said it. Yes, the idea of it.
But when I was here, and he was, you know, it was an in-home service. It was a euthanasian service because he couldn't get up anymore, and I just didn't realize I had that capacity to love that deep. Like I didn't even understand it. Like I'm getting emotional now, but
feel that. Let that come through.
Understand it, you know. And that is what's so exciting about life for me. It's like, yo, like I can do this. Like I'm able to do that. I'm able to feel all of those things, and that's why I love being a human and being an actor, because it's like. Y'all have to sometimes think, why don't you let yourselves feel something until you watch a show or a movie or hear a song? You know, why don't you just let yourself be?
You got to, let life touch you. Yes,
let life touch you. Let it move you. Let it fill you up. Like
it's in you.
It was such a crazy experience because he was in my life for so long, and you know, I think about him all the time, but I just didn't know I had the capacity, Kev. Didn't know. And I'm so grateful that I got out of my own way, and I was able to even experience that, you know? So
100%.
That's what I feel about this journey right now, and where we are, and really creating for your own self and allowing life to fill you. Because if not, you guys are going to die empty, and then you're going to be upset. You know, that you went through your whole life, not letting anybody fill you up, or letting yourself, your own love fill you up that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Let
it
that
was
love
just
come
really
through you.
powerful.
Super powerful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for having that moment and letting yourself be seen in it. Because that's like, that vulnerability is the source of our greatest strength. And I'm grateful that you allowed yourself to even feel it now, knowing that the depth and the richness of the love in you can flow so freely. And let everyone see just how safe enough we are to feel that, how safe enough you are to feel that, so everyone knows that they can feel that in themselves. It's
And you can be
fucking
open.
powerful. And I appreciate that.
You can
Thank
be
you for that.
open. It's okay. Like, it's okay.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
okay to
It's
evolve and to become
vital.
more and to ask for more and to ask questions and to have higher standards for yourself in this
Mm-hmm.
lifetime. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to hold yourself back, you know? And that's why I love our show.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
our show. I mean, this hour went by
Yeah,
so freaking fast. I'm
it
going to
did.
see if there's, a question or two, but I think I really just want to let Kev speak and maybe give some words to the Sistas fam. Let us know, how can we end this year off, and what can we do next year so we can become
Yeah.
a more evolved version of ourselves?
Yeah. 100%. So something that I would encourage everyone to make a standard is to check in with yourself often, daily, weekly, monthly. Check in with yourself. How am I feeling with where I am? Am I really doing the things I really want to do? What are my standards for relationships? What are my standards for the roles in my life? What is my standard as a man, woman? What is my standard as a partner? What is my standard as whatever member of the family aspect you represent? What is the standard that you're setting for yourself in all the areas of your life? And are you really living to that capacity? If not, what must you start to clean up in your life, in your reality? What neglects must you address? What avoidances must you address? And what must you sit down with to feel and get clear on? So you finally get that sense of direction you're looking for, because this is something everyone has the capacity to do. And you can set that for yourself. And you can step into the new year and every day that follows, living to a greater standard in yourself. And the dope shit is, it's already inherent in you. Your natural state of being is empowered, connected, and whole. You are the power. It's not something you have. It's what you are. And it is always asking to come forward in its most authentic way. And that's the journey of your life. So be messy, feel it all, clean yourself up, make a move, fall down, get up, live life, like live it, enrich yourself in it, drench yourself in it, and set a standard that keeps you stretching into more that you are. And that can be everyone's way of life from here on out. It can be, it's a real thing. This shit isn't like theory. It's not hyperbole. I am telling you, I am living proof. We're living it. We are like, it is a reality that's possible for everyone. And it is a decision away every time. And the more that we all do it, we all become guiding lights for others to realize they can do it too. Because there's enough for everybody also. And we're all in this together, period. Period.
There's nothing else I want to say, y'all. When the eyes close, it's a real thing.
Shit.
This is it. I feel so good. So many of the comments were like, I'm going to bed richer tonight. I'm going to bed fuller. Thank you. I didn't know I needed this message. I didn't, it was just, this is it. Thanks, Kevin. You guys make sure you follow Kevin at Source Radiance. He is writing his books. Don't worry. He is coming out. So don't trip. He has a great class too. If you guys want to check it out.
Nice. Luna just posted a link in there. Y'all check it out. Thank you, Luna. Love you immensely.
For
Love
all your
it. Yeah.
astrology needs, come and find me. Okay.
Indeed, that's right. Holla at her. I am Novi Brown. Let's go.
I'll show you the undistorted version of your energy. Okay.
That's right. Straight up.
And thank you guys so much for constantly supporting, constantly loving on us. We would not be here without y'all, and we know that. And we're just very humbled. You could be anywhere else in the world. You could be doing anything else, literally anything else. And you chose to spend your time with us and fill us with your beautiful energy. And we're not unaware. We are very aware of what's happening for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it can it's happening for you guys too, because this conversation wouldn't have made it to you if it wasn't happening for you. So keep
100%.
creating that reality that you deserve.
Mm-hmm. It's
Okay.
standing now. I love it. Thank y'all for the love.
Raise,
Thank you, Novi, for being so awesome. Yeah.
raise those standards. Okay,
Raise
guys.
them standards.
Raise those standards. Love y'all, and we will see you
Love
next
y'all.
week.
Hey.
Gang, gang. Bye, y'all.
Gang, gang.